Welcome to this incredible day in the Pacific Northwest with the Center for Spiritual Living Bellingham. My name is Andrea. I am the delighted senior minister of this beautiful center, and we have a wonderful guest musician today in the form of Kathy Angel, our deeply supported by Eric and Kathy Murray. And they're going to take us into some music right now. Thank you.
All right, please stand, everybody. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything I need to know about what lies before me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything I need to do about what lies before me, everything I need to do about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything I need to accept about what lies before me, everything I need to accept about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything I need to release about what lies before me, everything I need to release about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me, through the mind of God within me, through the mind of God within me. Please take a moment to greet someone you don't know yet. And if you're online, please say good morning in the chat. I'm just, okay.
I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Yeah?
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 All right.
There's kids.
Okay, let's just
Okay.
go right in.
Okay, so I'm going to thank Lily and Georgia for coming today. But there are no children for them to teach, so very sad. They were all ready to take them out. It was a whole program. So they get to go on their way, and we will continue on ours.
Okay, that's interesting. So,
Good morning. My name is Kat Wingerter. I am your practitioner today. I welcome you to please join me in an opening prayer. There is only one divine presence, one power of peace, of love, of joy, one harmonious, wonderful, flowing energy. That energy, that power, that presence is here now, always. A part of who we are, what we are, where we are, for it is all things, and all things are created out of it. Thus we are created out of it. We are divine beings of joy and love and peace. And we stand here today in that presence as it flows through us and flows through our lives. We open ourselves to the knowing, to the wisdom, to the awakening of our spiritual selves. And knowing that that presence is with us always on our spiritual journey. We are open to the messages received here and now, to that tiny whispering voice of spirit that says, yes, you are love. And we know that that is the truth. We are love. We are joy. And with a grateful heart, I release these words, knowing they are so. And so it is.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is well. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is well. All is there for each other in these times when we don't know what to do. All we can do is be there for each other and help each other through. All we can do is be there for each other in these times when we don't know what to do. All we can do is be there for each other and help each other through. Twists and turns, unexpected, day by day, moving on. I don't have all the answers, come what may, right or wrong. All we can do is be there for each other on the times when we don't know what to do. All we can do is be there for each other and help each other through. Crashing waves touch the shore. Time moves faster every day. Ebb and flow, no control. All that's left to say.
Please sing along.
All we can do is be there for each other in these times when we don't know what to do. All we can do is be there for each other and help each other through. One more time. All we can do is be there for each other in these times when we don't know what to do. All we can do is be there for each other and help each other through. And help each other through.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody, I get to talk about one of my favorite saints. You know, for years and years and years, from the time I was a young student of the science of mind, one of my fascinations was with women who had attained enlightenment, because I'd heard all about the men, you know, but you don't hear that much about the women, and I wanted to know, you know, what had happened to them as well as to the men. I love all enlightenment stories. So this one is about a Catholic person, but her family actually, this is way back in Spain, 1400s, late 1400s, early 1500s, and of course the Spanish Inquisition was going on. You know the Inquisition, right? Get that kind of thing. Lots of torture. And this woman's family was Jewish. And so what happened in those times is Jewish people basically had a choice. They could leave the country, which a lot of them did, or they could convert. And so her family converted to Catholicism. And of course, you can imagine, you know, in that time, someone pointed out to me a long time ago, there were not as many people at all. And so pretty much everybody knew everybody, right? So converting was like, all right, sure, but you're really still Jewish, aren't you? You know, so there's a lot of distrust and a lot of scrutiny and a lot of racist remarks and things of that sort. So into this family was born Teresa. And Teresa was born, and then her mother got pregnant again and died in childbirth. So from a very early age, she didn't have a mother. Her family had converted, and so she was raised religiously Catholic, so much so. And her spirit was not tame ever. And so she was getting in trouble a lot. And no one ever says exactly what happened, because they didn't back then. Maybe I don't know. But her dad decided that, he needed to put her in a convent for a couple years so that she could be tamed. So off to the convent she went, and she hated it. She hated every bit of it because it was very structured and it was very taming. And and she didn't respond well to that. But over time, what began to happen is her nervous system began to settle, because she'd basically been running the family, right? Her mom dies, she's the oldest. So she is taken care of now. So even though she doesn't like it, she gets calmer and calmer. And as she gets calmer, she starts realizing that there's value in being in a convent. And so after 2 years, her dad comes to take her away, and she basically says, "Nope, I'm not going," which shocked him because he was planning on her marrying somebody and blah, blah, blah. But she stayed, but she still hated it, which was interesting. And she talks about it in her autobiography. So I've ramped you up through these years to now this moment. And there's this moment. She's been in the convent for a while. She's not liking it. She's wild, comparatively, so she's always getting in trouble with the Mother Superior and the senior nuns. But she stays because she said she would. And one day she's going down this, let me read it to you because it's told by Mirabai Starr in a really great way. See if I can find it for you. She's going down this hallway, and here it is. It wasn't until Teresa was in her late 30s that she stumbled upon her beloved at last and fell headlong into a love affair that would transfigure her life. One day, as she was striding through the convent hallway, she noticed a statue of Christ scourged at the pillar, bound and crowned with thorns. In preparation for some upcoming celebration, someone had left it leaning against the wall. Annoyed, because that was kind of her way, Teresa bent to pick it up and carry it to a different location where it was more appropriate. And as she bent down, her glance caught the gaze of the suffering Christ, and their eyes locked. His countenance undid her, the blend of harrowing pain and unconditional love, of vulnerability and intimacy. Teresa's heart filled and flooded, releasing her from her exile in the religious desert and catapulting her into the garden of mystical connection. She flung herself on the stone floor in full prostration and, unleashing tears she had contained all her life, apologized to her beloved for neglecting him and promising always to remember this great love. In fact, true to her defiant nature, Teresa refused to get up until he assured her that he would never let her forget how deeply she loved him. So that was the start of her mystical journey into what in science mind we call Christ consciousness, because Christ actually is a consciousness rather than a person. Jesus was the person, and he attained enlightenment, or actually I think he kind of came in that way. And so he gained the title Christ, which is an honorific, kind of like guru or anointed one. And so Jesus the Christ, it wasn't his last name. So she had a relationship with the Christ in the form of Jesus, because that was the milieu she found herself in. So she went on from there, and her entire life was completely transformed. And I'd love to tell you all about it, but I have 20 minutes. So let me cut straight to the chase. So in her mystical kind of amazing journey from that point on, she didn't lose the defiant nature. That didn't happen. So if you were hoping that enlightenment would make you different than you are, sorry. Maybe nicer, but that's about it. So what happened, though, is the love that she had that exploded in her heart took the energy of that defiance and channeled it. And so what began to happen is she began to clean house in the convents of her order. Because at that point in Spain, the second and third daughters of the landed families were put into a convent because they were useless in the eyes of their fathers. And so it became sort of more like a social club in habits. And so, they would have visitors, but, they weren't supposed to have like male visitors alone and stuff like that. But all kinds of stuff was going on, if you know what I mean by going on. And, and so Teresa was like appalled. It's like, no. And so she began to like clean house and basically say, look, if you're not going to abide by the rules, then you shouldn't be here. Go somewhere else. And so she immediately became incredibly unpopular. And so much so that the Spanish Inquisition was called in to find out if she was actually really just pretending about all the things that she was saying about the mystical Christ and the love she had. And at the same time that this love is like opening her up, she's starting to have these amazing things happen. She's having visions. She's levitating. Remember TM when people were levitating? Well, she was. It's documented. And so they had to have a sister with her all the time to hold on to her because during Mass, she would start to float. It's all in the records. It's amazing. So anyway, like I said, I could tell you all about her, but I wanted to tell you about one of the visions and understandings that she had because it applies to us. Because the theme today is the field of awakening. And one of the things that the field of awakening is about you and me in our normal everyday experience walking into a situation like she did where our hearts are opened, our minds are opened, and we have an experience of union with the divine, whatever you call that. You've been hearing God a lot today in the songs and whatnot, and that's fine. But we don't think of God as a person or even a personality, but rather an energy, a oneness that we all share, and it's much vaster than who we are. So 10 minutes to go. So my question has been in these series of talks to myself is, all right, every saint and sage that I've studied in all these years says the same thing. They say that there is a field, this is Rumi, there's a field, I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, words begin to not mean anything. Concepts like you and me, they don't have any meaning because it's one. We're one with everything. And that's what happened to her, is she, through that beloved, began to realize the unity of all life. And so she began to teach from that place. And she was so unpopular in her own order that she actually went ahead and started a new order called the Barefoot Carmelites. And their vows were simplicity, poverty, things like that. And she founded convents all over. But in this altered state that she was in and remained in for the rest of her life, the judgment that the defiant nature had kind of participated in was softened into understanding and compassion. And so she was able to see that things were not right with her order, and she was able to say, this isn't what we signed on to, and you're doing things that really aren't. But it wasn't like you're bad, you're wrong. It was like, hey, if you really want to get to where I am, you can't be doing that stuff. You got to devote yourself. So she did. She devoted herself, and her new order devoted themselves. And they began to all have kind of these amazing experiences of the divine and unity with the divine. And as she went on, she began to teach. And she was actually an incredible teacher. Everybody who was with her was amazed at the knowledge that was coming through this woman. So she began to teach about the garden of prayer, and that's what I wanted to bring you today. Because the garden of prayer, prayer is a weird thing, isn't it? I don't know how many of you were raised like me, but I was raised with rote prayers, meaning memorize this prayer and I'll give you a quarter so that you can say it when we go to the Episcopal Church. And they'll know that I taught you this prayer, right? I mean, Our Father, which art in heaven, come on, hallowed be thy name, that one. So there was that one, and then the Episcopals have a couple others. And actually, as a child, I loved that prayer, and that prayer was in teen camp. We said it every night, which was interesting because it was a Science Mind teen camp. But it didn't actually do anything for me. Maybe it did for you, but it didn't. It was sort of like this lovely kind of moving words around to say, oh, we like God, and thanks a lot, is what I took away. So rote prayer wasn't something that worked for me. And then I found the Science of Mind, and there was a formula, and I'm thinking to myself, oh no, not another formula. And it's a formula for how to do an affirmative prayer. But what happened to me was I learned the formula because I was a good student, and I began to use the formula, which basically is understanding that there's only one, understanding that means I'm one with the one, you're one with the one, realizing whatever it is that is the problem or what it is that we desire is absolutely already available. So realizing that we don't have to do anything particularly other than accept that, oh, it's already available. Give thanks for the fact that we're now going to have it, and then let the prayer go so that it can work. So that's the formula. Didn't plan on doing that. So the garden of prayer that Teresa came up with is really different, because what she began to write about and teach about was the steps of illumination. So I thought you might want to know, just in case you're sort of along the way and you're sort of discouraged, you might actually be closer than you think. So she likens, because it was an agricultural society at that point, she likens the 4 stages of prayer to different ways of watering a garden, the garden of prayer. So the first way is very effortful, and it corresponds to us when we first start a spiritual path. So she wrote, the first water of prayer is labor intensive. We walk to the well, we lower a bucket down, 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 and then we haul it up. Water sloshes over the sides and we lose about half. Then we have to schlep it. I believe that's Mirabai Starr's addition to her writing. Then we have to schlep it across the yard to the garden, where we carefully pour it on the ground and beg the seeds to germinate. So this is the beginning of a practice. And you may have noticed that whenever you started a practice, it wasn't natural. It wasn't easy. It was you had to really be effortful about it. You had to pay attention. You had to make yourself do it even, maybe, like meditation for me was like that for a while. So that last week I talked about awakened effort. And that's this first step, is making the effort to actually be consistent with any spiritual practice that opens your heart. The second water of prayer still requires effort. Sorry about that. But it's less so. There's some support. So it's like if we had a water wheel, she said, which draws the water from the source and channels it along an elaborate engineered aqueduct delivering the water through a spout into a waiting vessel some distance away. The water splashes noisily and makes a great deal of itself as it arrives, but we keep meditating, we keep praying, we keep doing our practice. So, in other words, what begins to happen to us on the path of awakening is that effort that we put into the beginning that's hard begins to start paying off in small ways. It's hard to notice sometimes because we still might not feel like we're getting very far. I feel that way still, and I've been meditating 25 years. So it's splashy and it's doing it, but it's not as hard. And then the third part comes. The third part of prayer is much more direct. So in other words, you've created in yourself a place that can take you to the field of awakening. You're ready. And so she likened it through an arrangement of irrigation ditches. Remember, she lived in Spain that had been taken over by the Moors at one point, who were incredible architects of aqueducts and things. So with an intricate irrigation system, we simply lift up a wooden gate, and the water flows from the mother ditch along each channel, nourishing the tender shoots by soaking the ground around them. Now, for me, that's more of what's happening in my practice, and maybe you too, is the water of spirit is flowing. I've created a place where when I sit down, I can be quiet. That's part of the effort part, right? Is getting the mind quiet enough so that you can hear something other than your own inner voices saying all these things. So the quieter and quieter we get, the more the flow of what's already there can be experienced. And that nourishes us in ways that we absolutely need in this lifetime. You and I need that. I think that's why you're sitting here and watching. So the very last water that we open to in the field of awakening is rain. It's rain. There's no effort. It's just falling on us. In Buddhism, they call it the Dharma rain. We just open to it and allow it to drench us all the way through our being. And in this place, in the field of awakening, the pathway to our own knowing and understanding and connection of oneness, we're simply available to it at whatever level we've achieved. So, I don't know where you are, but for me, this is a delightful analogy. This sort of like, okay, there's the bucket. I'm going to meditate, darn it. I'm going to meditate. Okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to meditate. And then the next part is, okay, I'm going to meditate. Yeah, okay, I'm sitting. And then the third part is, oh, there's the cushion. I light the candle. And the last one is just. Can you do that with me? That feeling of complete release and peace and awakening, connection, oneness. And that's what it's about. That's what the spiritual path is designed to do. And I mean every spiritual path. They may not have talked about it quite like this. So I want to leave you with a little thing that Mirabai actually wrote. I don't know if you've read this book, Wild Mercy. She has several now, but this was one of her first. And in this book, she really elucidates a lot of what's going on. And there's a description that I'm wondering if it fits you. It's kind of like, for me, it's like a description of what happens when you get to the, even if it's only for a flashing moment. So she says, maybe you're making dinner and you step outside to snip chives from the kitchen garden just as the harvest moon is rising over the eastern slopes. The moon is full and golden, like one of those pregnant women who radiate from within. Suddenly, you cannot bear the beauty. Have you been there? Scissors suspended in your hand, tears pooling at the corners of your eyes, you nearly quit breathing. Your gaze softens, and the edges of your individual identity fade. You are absorbed into the heart of the moon, and it feels natural, and there is no other place you'd rather be. But the onions are burning. And so you turn away and you cut your herbs and you go back inside. You resume stirring the sauce and setting the table. This is not the first time you have disappeared into something beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? So the pathway that she illuminates is really powerful, and one of the things that I found from my personal practice is what gets me there quicker is when I allow myself to pay attention to the glimmers, to the awe, to those moments, to the moon rising, and I'm right there with it, to the smell of a newborn baby, to the frost on the lawn, when I'm really there, all the way, not busy in my head, not going somewhere else, but just in that moment, being fully present. Because the field is always there. I'm not. So why don't I do a prayer for all of us to be there more? And if you levitate, let me know. Everybody hold on to your neighbor's coat. So I give thanks for the awareness that awakening is always unfolding within each of us. And that the field of awakening, that field is always available. It's never gone anywhere. It lies within us and around us. And all of nature and all of reality conspires to bring us to a point, a focal point within ourselves of deep, powerful experience, of our union with all of it. I accept for you, and I know for myself, that nothing stands in the way, really. And because I know this, anything that seems to have been standing in the way falls away. And the awe and the majesty of being a sacred human is once again revealed. I am transformed, uplifted, and filled by that experience. I accept it for myself and I accept it for you. And all you have to do to have this prayer begin to operate is to join me in saying, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. All right, our ushers, patient ushers who gave me the 0 minutes left sign a bit ago, are coming forward, and we are grateful for your offerings to the center, financial offerings. But I also want to say, as the baskets are going around, so many of you offer yourselves in so many ways to the center, through prayer, through your service, through loving one another, being on the congregational support team. Jen Brown made coffee cake for the Giving Intention breakfast. You know, all of us together make a community of great love and support. So thank you for that too. All right, you guys.
I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. When I stumble, I lead by the light of my faith, shining both night and day, shining both night and day. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of peace. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of peace. When I see your face, I see God's light guiding you on your way, guiding you on on your way. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of freedom. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of freedom. And with conviction so sound, I know that now is the time to pray. Now is the time to pray. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love.
So this is the week where we start the Giving Intention program. And if you're new with us or you haven't heard me talk about it, you know, I was in churches for years and years because I'm a spiritual person, and a lot of them made the, in my view, mistake of asking for money all the time, which was incredibly annoying, don't you think? So when I got here, I decided that instead of doing it that way, we would do a 4-week section where we would tell people the budget for the coming year. We would ask people who love the center to speak to that in a way, and then I'd tell you a little bit about the budget and what it was, and you could sign up to support us in whatever way you could. And then after that 4 weeks was done, no more talking about money, except thank you very much for giving. So I've invited for our first speaker, there'll be a speaker every week, a practitioner and amazing man, Philip Flores.
Good morning. Wow, back-to-back weeks, right? Guess I can get used to this, right? Anyway, I want to talk about why I give to the center. Thank you. So I can say simple answers like, because it makes me feel good, because I support the spiritual insights of the weekly talks, because the center is my spiritual home. All these answers are true, yet I want to share more about why I give to the center. So each time I walk into this sanctuary, I look at this wall graphic words. These words, written by Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, touch my spiritual core. Peace. Peace be upon you. There is a sense of peace and wholeness when I think about the center. It has taught me valuable lessons that make me aware of the peace inside of me and the peace that surrounds me. Welcome. You are welcome in this house. From the first time I walked through these sanctuary doors, I have felt the embrace of this community. This embrace reminds me of strong family and friend connections. I can be who I am, which allows me to trust and know that universal love is present. My soul is truly welcome here. Open. The way is open, and there is room in our house for all. Yes, there is plenty of room in this house. This house is my spiritual home. Those near and afar, this home, this center, this sanctuary is open to many spiritual seekers and spiritual learners. Refresh. Sit and rest and refresh your soul. It is comforting to know that this center is a place where my soul is taken care of. I rest and refresh my thoughts so that I am in alignment with my true self. When I am aligned, I connect to oneness and harmony. I am aligned, awake, aware, and alive. So what do I give to the center? I give to the center for it's a light in the forest in my spiritual journey. It is a light that illuminates my path and warms my heart. I give for me, I give for you, for spirit and for love. And so it is.
My mama's heart is like this big. He's been my student, and it's so great to hear him. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing and the budget. So this coming year, 2023, we are looking for pledges of $205,000, which sounds like a lot to an individual, but if you've ever been part of a nonprofit, it's really not that much to run the whole group of us and do everything we do. And so the way we do that is we ask people to sign up for whatever level they can. We have a few of these forms, but actually this form is on our website, and so easy for you to go in and look at it and decide if you would like to give. People who sign up to give are a part of this intentional structure of not having to talk about money all the time, but also they're the ones that see the value, just as Philip was talking about, of this community and why support it. You might be asking, well, I don't have enough money to make $205,000 work, but it's all of us giving what we can. And so I know for some of you, you can't give anything. Your budget is so tight, and with the rising price of groceries and gas and all that, you can't. But there are those of us who maybe could give up a latte a week, which also has gone up in price again. Or maybe there's those of us who really could give at a deeper level than that. And so it's all of us together making that budget work. And why is that budget where it is? Well, our budget really runs this place and allows us to do some things that we are really hoping to do in the new year. One of the things we're hoping to do is we would like to expand the office space that's at the top of the parking lot there. It's where the staff work, but it's also where the children meet. And we'd like to add a classroom onto that building for our adult students, but also for the children that we long to have be part of our multi-generational family here. So we want to do that. It's expensive. Applying for a conditional use permit involves public hearings and meetings with department heads, and all of that costs money. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So there's that. But the biggest news that I have for you is that this coming year, I have invited Reverend Zena, who's been helping at a part-time level, theoretically. Ministers hardly ever work part-time, but I didn't want to tell her that. She figured it out on her own, though. But I've invited Reverend Zena to be a co-minister with me. That's partly because I've been the senior minister now for 11 years here, and it's grown and it's grown and it's grown, and it's had really difficult things that we all weathered together, like elections and COVID and things like that. And I'm a little tired. And I had to really look at my own heart and say, I need help. I need more help than a theoretical part-time person can give me. I need an equal to work with me together. So that adds to the budget. And while I'm taking my salary down just a little bit, I want to bring her up a lot, from part-time to three-quarter time. I'm going to be three-quarter time. So you're getting a person and a half. And of course, that's theoretical. So there's that. That is probably the biggest addition to the budget, is that. And I'm hoping you all can support that and support us in that. We have a lot of super, super fun ideas because we love collaborating. She brings fresh energy. She's so excited about being part of the Bellingham community. And when she gets inspired, I get inspired again. So it's really a really wonderful partnership that we've forged together. She's still learning that. Her line to me is always, but Dr. A, you're so beloved. And I'm like, well, you are too. Open the doorway of your heart. So that's the ask, is $205,000. And the form has 3 different ways to give. If you only have the $4.95 that a latte costs now, round it up to 5, and that'll be your monthly gift, and we would love you to put it in the general fund. In fact, that's the most important fund that we have because it pays for the lights and for us and for everything you see happening here, the mower being repaired multiple times, the musicians, everything. That's general fund. But we also are very good stewards of our land. It's one of our core values. And so there's a second fund called the renovation fund. And what that is if you have extra money after you've given a certain amount to the general fund and you want to tithe to the renovation fund, that allows us to do things like not only repair and maintain our equipment and our buildings, but actually to do things like apply for a conditional use permit to build a classroom, repair the parking lot on a regular basis, things like that. So that's that fund. And last but not least, I don't know if you know, but we are a community of deep service in the larger community that we inhabit. And we've chosen 2 different ways to offer our service. The biggest way we do that is assisting people who are experiencing homelessness in a variety of ways. So we provide laundry services, and we actually pay for people to have vouchers to go to a laundromat and do their laundry. And when we first started doing this, I was remembering the $2.50 that it cost me to do a load of laundry when I was a college student way back when. So it was a bit of a shock to realize that a load of laundry today is upward of $15 a load by the time you wash it and dry it. It's very expensive. And so a lot of people who are experiencing homelessness, it's just not on their radar. That's not going to happen. If they have $15, they're not going to spend it on laundry. So we want to make it available. And you know why? As a therapist, I had clients who grew up so poor that they were embarrassed to go to school because all they had were dirty clothes. And so when I heard that as a therapist, I realized, oh, that's happening all the time. Because who can pay $15 to do your child's laundry at a laundromat when you might better buy groceries or gas for the car or pay for a cell phone? So that's the last one, is not only laundry services, but we also support families moving out of homelessness into permanent housing and permanent jobs through a program called Family Promise. We also have a dedicated group of people, and I don't know if you're here today, some of you, but if you make care cookies, could you raise your hand? Care cookies. There's some care cookie people. We have about 20 people who on a regular basis make these high protein cookies, and they deliver them to Flip Breskin's house, and Flip distributes them. And sometimes these cookies are the only meal a person has in a day. And so we're dedicated to that. So there's lots that we're doing, and if you have extra money and you want to give to those programs, that's the third line. So that's the Giving Intention program. Once a year, we put out a newsletter about it to sort of tell you what we've done in the past year, kind of what we're planning, and also to give you next year's theme. So I'll give you next year's theme, your soul's compass. And I hope that it will be a dynamic year for all of us. So if you would like a form, there are some at the Ask Me desk in the back. They're blue. If you'd like a newsletter, I think there's a few copies back there as well. If you have questions about the budget, we have a few printed out. We're very transparent about our finances. I can't pretend to have every single answer, but a lot. So you can ask me, or hopefully some of the other folks that are on the board can help you with that. And here's the other announcements. So the men's group is meeting today, and our brilliant Philip is leading that. He's going to be meeting in the classroom, and it just so happens that today's men's group has food because we had a Giving Intention breakfast, and there's leftover wonderful food. I made them hide the brie, but I'll bring it out for you men if you want it. It's also available online on a Zoom link that you can find at the website. So if you can only join by Zoom, you'll just have to salivate over the homemade coffee cake that Jen Brown made and the incredible other things that are there. And then I forgot to tell you the second branch of our service, and that is Earth Stewardship. And we belong to a larger organization called Earth Ministries. And we, as a group of people, seek to help the environment in our local area whenever we can. And so there's a beach cleanup that's going to be happening the day after Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, on the 25th of this month from 10 to noon. And it's at Little Squalicum Beach. Do you know that beach? A lot of us spent our youth at that beach doing things I'm not going to talk about. So it's happening from 10 to noon. You meet with Resources is providing the cleanup supplies and everything. You meet them at the trailhead, and they'll give you, clippy things and trash bags and tell you, and they have a light snack planned as well. So that is Friday the 25th. Women's group is meeting next week, and we're doing a wonderful time working with the theme Field of Awakening. So that's happening. And I think the rest of this you can find on the internet, and we hope you will look for all the things that we're doing, because we do a lot. All right, I think that's enough. You might even sneak in before the men and get some of that coffee cake, just saying. All right, take us out of here.
I can feel the power of love inside me. Feel the power of love. I can see the evidence around me. We are the power of love. And my eyes are open to the truth I now embrace. And my heart is open by spirit and by grace. I can feel the power of love inside me. Feel the power of love. I can see the evidence around me. We are the power of love. And my eyes are open to the truth I now embrace. And my heart is open by spirit and by grace. We are the power of love. 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 Have a wonderful week, everybody.
2, 3, 4.